Good evening and welcome to the Stockbridge Selectboard meeting for September 28th, 2023. And we're going to start with the Pledge of Allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay. Public hearing in accordance with the provision of MGL 148, Section 13, in regards to an application received from Jason Wild requesting the storage of 600 gallons of propane for a total of 1,114,640 gallons located at 9 Lead Road. I move we open the hearing to consider the application for amending license in accordance with the provision of Mass General Law 148, Section 13, for the property located at 9 Lead Road, and waiver the reading of the notice and incorporate it in the notice into the minutes of the hearing. Do I have a second?
I second.
Roll call vote.
Hi, Patrick.
Hi, Chuck.
Hi, Jamie.
Okay, the following procedures be followed. Testimony will be limited to the issues directly related to the subject matter. Only one person will be permitted to speak at a time. All decisions will go through the chair. Arguments between parties will not be permitted. I ask the applicant for the presentation.
I guess I'm the applicant.
Yep,
Jason
come up.
Wild, come up.
Yep. You can sit in the chair here, be comfortable, or stand there if you want. Either way.
Whichever works for you guys.
Sit in the chair, stand in the
I
podium.
really prepare for a presentation, but my name is Jason Wild on behalf of Osterman Propane, which is owned by Superior Plus Propane. We have the plant 9 Lee Road, bulk plant that's been there. Former ownership through the natural gas company, so they've actually installed it. Osterman Propane purchased it from them. What we're basically trying to do or amend is adding additional storage. And that storage is in the form of up to 5 delivery trucks and up to the 120 gallon tanks that you see on a lot of homes or next to homes now, 72 of those, basically 8,600 gallons. So right now we already have approval for the 90,000 gallons of bulk storage that is there. All we're asking for is to amend the permit to have up to 5 delivery trucks parked there with product in, and then tanks that we bring back to pump out and refurbish.
Just point of order, does that mean, is the agenda as far as 600, was it supposed to be 8,600?
So I noticed on the agenda that was listed, our 600 gallons of methanol that we use was written down as gas. So the 600 gallons that's on the agenda is actually the methanol that we have on site to add to the propane.
Right.
How much propane you're looking to add then?
But it's 8,600
Propane is what
gallons.
we're looking to add. We didn't have anything as far as chemical of methanol, so we added that on the permit also. So the application shows storage up to 5 trucks, 8,600 gallons of tanks brought from the field, and 600 gallons of methanol, up to 600 gallons of methanol. So that's the clarity in there, so. I mean, I'm just here to find out some of the objections or what ways we can make things better for you.
Are you going to have a cascade system there in case of fire? I'm sorry. Is that the question? Okay.
No.
Yeah, so that's what my purpose here tonight is. Obviously, we're asking to be able to have our trucks out of here, out of this location. It's been there since whenever Osterman had taken over. Unfortunately, it looks like there wasn't any permit to add for the trucks and the tanks that came back from the field. So they went so many years without any of that. And then when fire chief came on site for a job that Berkshire Gas was doing, he noticed all the tanks and was surprised by it. So that's what really got things rolling. Who I am is I came from the Midwest. We moved here to work with Osterman and Superior Plus Propane. A lot of the things that I'm finding out here have been not taken care of, to say the least. All right, it's been a turn a blind eye to a lot of things, a lot of items. Stockbridge plant is just one of those items. So my job in the last 16, 18 months has been trying to take care of getting these cleaned up, getting these back in order, back in shape. Unfortunately, getting new staff and new people that we can trust and have on site that can handle these things. So that has been my role. That's what we've been working towards. So we've made tremendous gains from where it was when I walked in the door. A lot of you may not know unless you directly are living right next to it. What this has been back there. There was a lot of things back there that hadn't been attended to for quite a few years. So where we sit now, we've completely removed the tanks, the storage, the portable storage tanks that you see at your home. We've removed all of those with the exception of 24 of these upright 120 gallon tanks. They're in the process of being pumped back into the tanks, and then those will be removed. And then we have 4 delivery trucks there at this point. So it's listed that way. We do share it with Berkshire Gas. So Berkshire Gas owns the property. We own the tanks in the ground.
I guess I'm just wondering if you think that the 600 versus A600 is substantial enough that we should continue the hearing and have it reposted.
No, you can continue the hearing. We're clarifying right here. They already have 4 trucks up there, so you're actually asking to have 5 instead of 4. So there's a little clarity. The 600 tank is the new tank, right, Chief, that's out there?
So the 600 tank, if you may, the 600 gallon tank that Jason's referring to is part of the proprietary operation of their system. They use methanol into the trucks when they're filling from the tanks to keep the valving from freezing during transfer for delivery to houses, commercial businesses, et cetera. So the methanol is an integral part of their day-to-day operations. That tank has been there for as long as Osterman's been running bobtail trucks out of that property.
That's not my question. My question has to do with the announcement of the public hearing and the fact that they're actually asking for 8,600 gallons of new storage and that it wasn't posted as such. I'm asking whether or not that's a substantive requirement for posting. It's a procedural issue before we get into the merits of it.
Yeah, I don't see, so each one of these, all these things exist up there as is, so they're amending the permit and
But everything is right in the,
there's the 600, there's just additional.
It said that they're doing an additional 8,600 gallons of storage.
So those delivery trucks were never, permission was never received for those either.
As far as I understand, no, this has been an oversight over the many years that they haven't applied or permitted any trucks or tanks that have been in there. So, yes.
I would recommend that you hear the chief's one, and then if we continue to a date certain, we have to republish, I will check that time.
Okay, so Chief?
If I could, is the application correct?
it looks like,
The application is, but the application just lists what's up there, and I guess what changes, it's not clear what changes are. Because you're saying that there were 4 trucks up there, now you're going to 5, but the 4 original trucks were never,
So we're originally
Listen.
permitted for 90,000 gallons of storage. That's what
Right.
originally, so your additional gallons you see on the permit is allowing for roughly 16,000 gallons in delivery trucks and 8,600 gallons in storage tanks that we brought from the field.
Okay, so 114,640 is the total number.
Total.
Propane that you're going after.
Including-
Right now, the permit's for 90. The 600 gallons is just,
The 600 gallons is a methanol one. It's a chemical that we want to make sure that
Okay.
is marked on.
so I guess this.
the numbers are
I need to,
right.
but I need to
the
make a
paperwork's
notice.
right.
The paperwork's right, but what's the difference between what was actually up there and what you're asking for changes? Or are you saying that you're just asking for permission after the fact?
Well, unfortunately, both.
Yeah, all right,
Yeah.
Asking for forgiveness.
all right.
Well, you kind of walked into it.
Yeah,
Well, I'm just,
It wasn't-
I'm not arguing it.
No, you walked into
Yeah.
the over thing. It wasn't like you came in and threw 5 trucks in there and said,
but all along there's been 4 trucks out there. Now you're asking to go to 5, but the 4 were never asked for in the first place.
So
I can
at one
clarify.
point, when Osterman had it, you had probably 6, possibly more trucks out of that location.
Oh, all right.
plus trailers.
Plus-
I've seen trailers going out of there too.
Multiple equipment, yes.
Okay, so that's water under the bridge. That's not,
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I
Okay.
appreciate that. I just kind of where we want to.
No.
Yes.
the numbers add up, just the wording was wrong. Okay, chief?
But you're okay with the wording being wrong? That's my question. It's a special permit.
Yeah, we're gonna,
So Vincent Jan Garofoli, Stockbridge Fire Chief. To start off, I want to make it very clear to everyone that I'm asking for no action to be taken tonight and for this to be continued to the first meeting in November, which I believe is November 9th, for us to hear this. There is open violations on the property with a compliance reinspection date of October 20th of 2023 at 10 a.m. That's the reason for me wishing to continue and take no action tonight. I would like to see full remediation before we take, or before the board would take any action if necessary. Clarification, yes, there is existing up there, everything that has been mentioned. There is an element of this, most of it, that is trying to catch up to what's there. The land license that was passed by the town, with the last one being back in 2005 when the tanks changed hands from Berkshire Gas to Osterman at the time, was all for the 90,000 gallons only. They were never licensed or reported to the town that they were running bobtail trucks out of there or that they were doing a tank recovery service where they stored recovered tanks from the field on the property. So the 72 120 gallon tanks, for clarification there, reason for that is the exact amount of tanks that a tractor trailer truck will take out at any given time. So when they call for recycling and call for these tanks to be removed from the property, that's the number of tanks they need to request the tractor trailer truck to remove them. So that's why they selected the 72. And at the time when they asked us on the fire department side, I thought that was reasonable because that wouldn't give them any financial hardship, but would ensure that tanks were being removed on a regular basis where they weren't before. The 3,200 gallons apiece times 5 was for the bobtail trucks. Typically, the inspections that I've done and the site visits to the property, I've seen 3 to 4 tank trucks max.
Can you clarify what a bobtail truck is?
A bobtail truck is what you typically see going house to house to make deliveries. So it has a fixed propane tank on the back of it with a pump system that allows transfer to the portable tanks or the tanks on the side of a house.
Okay.
Or in the ground, depending on the type of bath. So that's, if there's any further questions or whatever, I'm going to remain here for the duration of this, if there's anything else that needs to be asked or brought up. But it should be noted that Jason and the people from both Berkshire Gas and Superior Plus Energy Services, Inc. have been working diligently with the fire department and the town to try and bring themselves to total compliance. And you are correct, they did walk into existing conditions that were not optimal, and they're trying to make them such. So, thank you.
okay, any questions from the board?
I just had a question. Can you, is it an annual check? You said something about remediation. Or biannual?
So yes, I'm sorry about that.
Thank you.
So besides the land license, which requires the certificate of registration to be filed every year, which proves that the land license is still being used on the property and there's somebody maintaining it, which is the form that's filed with Terry every year, there is supposed to be a permit for the storage and use of that property through the fire department called an FP006 or general permit form. That is supposed to be pulled annually.
Okay.
Its expiration date is annually. And what that will trigger moving forward every year is that prior to issuing that permit, under the Mass General Law, Chapter 148, the fire chief or the authority having jurisdiction reserves the right to inspect the property prior to issuing that. What that ensures moving forward is that those conditions will never exist again because the permit will never be approved by the fire department or any representative of us thereafter if these conditions are not optimal. So this is also, for clarification, a self-reported permit, meaning it is not the responsibility of the Stockbridge Fire Department or the municipality to seek the permit from the person operating. It's the operator's responsibility to seek the permit from us.
Okay.
Okay, I'll make a motion to continue this hearing to November 9th at 6:30. Have a second?
Second.
Got your roll call or
Yeah.
roll call vote?
Hi, Patrick.
Hi, Chuck.
Hi, Jamie.
Okay, thank you.
Thanks for your efforts to clean it all up.
Yeah.
National Grid, Verizon joint poll hearing on Hawthorne Road. Anybody here for that on Zoom or?
Got a top guy,
They're
top
on.
left.
Zoom
Tiger.
Good evening. I am here. I'm a rep from National Grid, and they're the contractor to design this job. His name is Aaron Amazoa. I believe he's on
Yeah.
phone too.
Yep, I'm here.
Okay, so just explain what you're doing.
Okay, yeah. So, as stated before, my name is Aaron. I'm a design engineer with Control Point Technologies. We're a utilities contractor based in Rockland, and in the systems, we're working with National Grid. So today, I'm just asking to approve our pole permit request to install a joint-own pole from on Hawthorne Road. The pole location is it's about 110 feet southeast from the intersection of Hawthorne Road and Hawthorne Street. This pole is going to be installed to house a recloser, and it's a part of a Flidger scheme along with National Grid to provide power to the area. The Flidger scheme is meant to mitigate and sectionalize faults in cases of outages and stuff. The pole location, it's within the right, it's within the public right of way. It's where the intersection of Hawthorne Road and Hawthorne Street is. So no one's properties really extend to the end of there, so there's no need for easement. Just the town permit.
Okay. Any questions from the board?
I got one.
Yep.
So I just was looking for a little clarification. It's not about what is the dual use that Verizon's bringing to the pole? Is this for landlines or Verizon phone and cable infrastructure? Or is it for Wi-Fi or for wireless?
So to the best of my knowledge, it's only joint owned for the electric space on the pole. In pole agreements, depending on the size, the electric space gets split pretty much in half between the electric company and the telephone companies. So I can't speak to what the telephone companies want to do with that space. I would assume it's landlines though.
Okay. All right.
Any comment from the public or anybody here?
I have a question.
Yeah, state your name.
Kate Fletcher.
Yeah,
I live about a quarter of a mile from that corner,
Okay.
and it's just not quite clear to me. Are you putting in an additional pole? And is it that little circle? Is that the additional pole you're putting in?
Yeah.
And the other locations, are those existing poles?
Yes, those are existing poles.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
No problem.
any other questions? Seeing none, I'll make a motion, we approve the poll.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. 310 Old Stockbridge Road, Berkshire Vanderbilt LLC, substantial work determination.
Hi,
Hello.
I am Elizabeth Goodman, an attorney in the law firm of King, Hibbard, and Myers. And I sent your board a letter in August, and it was in your packet, which was our request regarding the special permit for Old Stockbridge Road. And we're here to ask your board to acknowledge and to hear what our client has spent so far and what the costs are to operate this, and to say that we believe that we've made a clear case for substantial use, and that this permit should not be considered one that could lapse. Because your bylaw allows a permit to lapse if no work has been done. And we also gave you, as part of our letter, a long list of work that has been accomplished to date under this special permit by our client, Berkshire Vanderbilt. Vanderbilt Berkshire Estate LLC. Our client, the principal is Linda Law, and she has a very long track record and has been engaged in the area for a long time. This property, Elm Court, is in Stockbridge and Lenox, obviously. And so she's been invested in this area for a long time and done a lot. And she also has worked very hard to improve the situation in this great house right now, just to get it all repaired and in good use. And also, right now, she has 6 full-time employees working on this project. So it's a huge investment that she's making in this property and in Stockbridge. And so I'm here to answer any questions you might have about this request.
Patrick, any questions?
I have no questions.
Jamie?
I don't think so. Was just reading the letter.
Yeah, sure. I do think it's pretty basic request. This is important. But you may have questions. What do we say? No questions?
And if we grant this permit, you just continue work,
Correct.
right?
That's right.
It's not a permit. They already have a permit.
Yeah.
It just means that we all acknowledge that it's not going to lapse.
Right.
Any questions from the public or anybody on Zoom?
Fire Chief Vincent Garofoli, I have one question. If this permit was to lapse, what does that mean for your client?
Disaster. No, really. So whatever work is being done on the house, it's a residential district. So without the special permit, you really couldn't operate anything. With the special permit, you can proceed to improve the mansion, rent the mansion, but nothing is changed in terms of what requirements the owner would have towards, compliance with any other law. It's only the zoning permit allows the use to continue and doesn't lapse. This permit the town already issued is not going to lapse if the board says yes.
So second question in relation to your first question. So if they repair it in sections, they do the east wing, west wing, whatever, as they repair these sections under this special permit, is there any restrictions to being rented out as short-term rental or hotel occupancy?
Well, they would need, the normal certificates of occupancy to rent anything. So if you said, no, you can't rent a wing, you have to do the whole thing, whatever you're the fire chief, you would grant that certificate. regarding compliance.
And the reason why I'm asking is because currently there is substantial water on the property to warrant sprinklering the whole building, and it has not been done. And under the current permit, that would not be a requirement unless the use changed or it became a true hotel occupancy with an in-holder's license. So my only concern is that if it becomes an Airbnb and goes to all short-term rentals and you rent 15 to 17 units, you have a building with balloon frame construction and no sprinklers that normally by today's requirements would require a fire protection system.
That would be in violation of the short-term rental bylaw anyway. They need to have a hotel.
That's my only fear, that is,
It doesn't change any of the other compliance requirements.
Okay.
So whatever the law requires is required. This is just the zoning special permit.
okay, thank you.
Any
Okay.
questions from anybody else on Zoom or anything?
Make a motion to approve.
Motion's been approved, second?
I'll second.
Aye,
Aye.
Aye.
Thank
there
you.
you go. Harold,
Yes, sir.
come on up. Have a seat. We'll let you sit.
Oh, thank you. Be nice to the old guy.
Go chop.
I would like to see Selectmen finally move, have a little tour of us on Church Street to take care of the problems that are down there. We've been
Okay.
getting put off for about 6 years now. Ever since that sidewalk was put in. But it's more than just a sidewalk. Quite a few issues down there that need to be addressed, and you can't address them until you see what they are.
So we got the 9th, the next meeting is when?
We have, I believe it's the 12th and the 26th
Next week
But
meeting?
that's.
in
Thanksgiving, right?
October.
Oh,
So we
October,
have,
November.
October, we have meetings on the 12th and the
So
26th.
this is September. Okay, I'm thinking November 9th. So next
This is
meeting
the
would-
last.
Yeah, that was,
Weekend of
no,
September.
that was because of the compliance.
So the 12th, do you want to
12th or
Do
the
one
26th.
like an hour before a site visit.
start at 5:30?
October?
Is it October 12th?
Okay? I can do that. I'll stagger along.
It's going to be a site visit
Site visit
on October,
Right.
at your house.
All right, you can do that.
October 12th?
At 5
12th.
or 5:30.
Start from there and work up the street.
And then-
I think also you ought to include Hugh Page and Mark Faber.
Okay. Yeah, is that okay with you?
I'm always available.
I thought maybe take a vacation or something, or
October 12th.
Well, what time again? I'm sorry.
5:30.
I have a Affordable Housing Trust Fund meeting at that time, so I would prefer that we do it October earlier or later.
If you want to do it
It
on.
won't be later, it's too dark.
What? How about 20 o'clock? Or is that
I
too
can't
late for you
do
guys?
20, yeah.
How about the Wednesday then? Wednesday at 5?
How about the following meeting, which is 12th,
October 26th is the following meeting.
26 at 5:30.
I'm fine.
They don't change the clocks back until November.
October
so-
26th?
Whatever.
Yeah.
All right. October 26th at 5:30 is.
We have to post.
Anytime after 2 AM.
Yep, I will
It's a
take.
Thursday.
I'm already putting it on.
2 a.m., I'll be
So
there.
5:30, you're
Same
talking about
time.
before the select board
Yeah.
meeting? All right,
We'll start the select meeting there at 5:30, then come here and continue it.
all right.
So
Got it.
26th now?
26.
5:30.
You see how easy that was? You should have come in front of us.
Okay, the other thing I want, is talked a long time ago about setting up a monument, Revolutionary War. That's the only war we don't have a monument to. And during research, Stockbridge militia was the most formidable militia in the Continental Army. Men were coming from miles around to join because of the reputation of the militia. And we need to honor that. And I'm looking to make a rustic stone, not a finished stone.
Well, we approved this, just waiting for the stone.
Right. But I like to, have some help with it.
Okay. What do you need?
I was talking to Hugh.
Yeah.
I'd like to get Richie Atwood in on it too, because that's his thing.
I've had some conversations in the last few weeks with the Stockbridge Muncie Band of Mohicans about coordinating this effort with the loss of 49 young Mohican men at one battle near Albany. And they would like us to consider memorializing not only the Revolutionary dead, but also the significant and catastrophic loss of the community at one of the Revolutionary War battles. And I would like us to consider hearing what their ideas on that might be before we actually go ahead with manufacturing this. I think it's a great idea that we honor all of them, but I would like to at least get some input from the Mohicans.
We're not talking a stone the size of this table.
You need a stone.
What you'd have to put all that on there you want to put on
I
there.
don't know what I want to put on.
No.
I'm not going to design it. I simply want to acknowledge that we've had a request.
Right.
And I want to make sure we get their
And could
input
it be
before.
two separate
Well,
things?
that's no, that could be pretty simple, because what we voted on was you to get the stone,
Right.
basic language.
Right.
And then whatever that
Okay.
phone thing is or whatever, that you can click on, you can put any information you want on that.
Yeah, that's not necessarily what,
Well, we can't name every name. I mean, we can,
I think it's a simple statement honoring those that sacrificed their lives.
can we just table it till we hear the proposal? Just, I'm not saying we shouldn't do it.
Get the stone.
Okay,
Look for the stone. That's gonna take a while.
I've been looking,
I know you have been.
Yeah.
It's been a while. I was gonna ask you every time I see you, but I forget to ask you.
yeah.
And then we can figure out, get there, what they want. and what
If you
they're
want to,
thinking.
want to get, you talk about, it's near Albany. If you look at the history, it's down near Queens, New York.
I understand where.
Yes. Look it up, Stockbridge Indian Massacre. It's in the
I know,
unit.
I know.
Okay, all right.
I'm just saying, let's understand what kind of the requirements are for what we want to say and whether or not we want to accommodate this request. And then let's have the design follow what the need is rather than the need follow what the rock is. I mean, it's a rock. Okay, guys, let's just be measured. We've had a request. I'm just letting you know we've had a request. Yeah. But I completely agree we should do it. Don't get me wrong. I'm completely behind doing it.
All right.
I just don't
That was
necessarily
it.
want to buy the rock yet. Yeah.
We're not buying it, it's going to be donated.
Either way.
Well, keep looking, and then we can just, when
The
you
only
look for
expense would
it.
be, basically, I'm going to help whoever mounting it, the expense would be whatever gets charged for engraving it or whatever. Putting a brass plaque, bronze plaque on it, whatever it is.
You need a rock for everybody's name, whatever rock size it is room.
But then we
Yeah,
also
was hundreds.
we have a number of different designs for war memorials down there. Let's look at what we already have and let's see I don't know if they know all the names. I have no idea. I'm just saying, we haven't,
We'll get them involved, but
go through a
we already,
process. Yeah.
just
All right.
voted on the rock and stuff, so let's move forward that and we'll get them involved.
All
and
right.
Decide what to do. Okay,
good enough, thank you.
anything else?
8 hours of sleep, what's that?
Okay, that'd be good. I'd like to join that. Sign permit consideration for the inn at Stockbridge. I live in a neighborhood, but I'm not a butter, so. I'm on the other side of the turnpike.
So we came here we've already met with the zoning board.
Yeah,
They've approved the size of the
The
sign.
we got a
Variance for the size of the sign. This is the actual sign, so that you could physically see it down the road. This isn't the sign. Don't get me
This is
wrong,
a
this is a mock-up
That's a small.
of it.
that's the size of it.
This is the size of it.
So what makes it,
1 square foot bigger and
It's not a square foot
way?
bigger. It's 9 square feet bigger.
no, it's 1 square foot bigger. The name sign is 1 square foot bigger. We're supposed to have 4 square feet. This is 5 square feet.
Oh, okay.
The address this is what we're allowed to have as an address.
Because currently it's just in at Stockbridge with no, 30
No,
Street. So we
yeah,
want to
and
have
that's been
that.
a problem.
I know, I drive by there and I see people pulling over, turning
Oh,
around,
it's-
doing U-turns.
Yeah.
It is.
Turns
It's
into an
hard
issue.
to see, yeah.
And plus you can't see one of the zoning board, one of the reasons that they also mentioned is that you can't see our structure from
From the road,
street,
because
from the
there's a
road.
lot of trees and stuff, so.
You can't see our building. So this is the only thing that you see.
And this is our new logo.
That's for you guys to.
We're not allowed to comment on design. It's against the Supreme Court rule.
We can say we like it.
Yeah.
Can't say.
We can't regulate
We
design.
don't know, this is the
We
first
don't
time
know.
we're doing this,
Yeah.
just so you guys know.
It's a First
So you
Amendment,
guys should approve
your
the
First Amendment
design.
right, you can use any font you want.
We had a local, actually, husband and wife.
Yeah, I think they did
the parents
the
and
logo
did-
for the red line as well.
Okay. Any comment from the board? Any questions?
No.
Any questions from the public? Seeing none, I'll make a motion, we approve the sign.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you.
There you go.
Good luck.
Thank you.
Okay, discussion on the special town meeting for October 23rd, which is the school merger.
So Tuesday night, they passed the article for the joint, to move ahead with the joint school, the 8-town school, which then kicks off 30 days to hold a town meeting in each of the 8 communities. So they've asked that all towns consider doing it the same night on October 23rd. I know there was quite a bit of discussion about doing it even at the same time if possible, and a bunch of towns have already booked it at 6 PM. So asking that the board call for a town meeting on that October 23rd at 6 PM. And the warrant will be coming from the 8-town advisory board shortly.
Okay, and this will be a ballot vote.
It is a ballot vote, so it'll come in, there'll be a presentation, discussion, then there'll be a motion for the ballot vote. This is one of the few times you can't amend. It's got to be the same in every one of the towns. So the only thing is, there can be, like I said, there'll be a motion, a second, and discussion, and then move to a ballot vote, where we'll then, the plan right now is to set up the community room and get ballots made to do the electronic voting tabulation machines. So people would actually have ballots just like they have at elections. And they would go in and check yes or no, and then we'd run them through the ballot machine.
Okay, so I'll make a motion to set the meeting for October 23rd at 6 PM.
I second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
And then we have two other items that, for consideration on the warrant, which would likely then be considered for the school so that we don't have to usher people back in the room afterwards.
Senior work-off program, we are decided.
I think that we had, so just to let everybody know, we were about to kick off the senior work program. We were hoping to have it up and running for January, and then come to find out, we never adopted it at town meeting. But I think that this program hasn't been running for many, many years. So I don't think it would be a big deal to have the start July 1st and have it appropriate at the May.
I put it off, it'll take 2 minutes to approve a town meeting, the senior workout program. We've been doing it as a town forever. Why not simply add it now so you have the authority?
That's yours. If you want to keep it as clean as possible, it's up to you guys. But anyway, I think it's really a decision of this board.
I would like to keep the school district meeting and do the senior work-off in May.
All right, but we got to talk about the much larger question, which is the window for the 1% transfer tax.
What's the window? Why is there a
What
window?
About 2 weeks ago, I met with Senator Lydia Edwards, the chair of the Joint Committee on Housing. They've gotten approximately 20 petitions from towns around the Commonwealth, including Amherst and the number on the Cape and wherever, to consider a transfer fee. It requires a home rule petition, or in other words, an act of the legislature to be considered. We cannot pass one now. We cannot write a bylaw and bring it before town meeting unless we get home rule permission to do it. They are bringing that up as part of the housing bond bill next month. All the towns have put in, they're going to consider them all at once. And the indication is that they're going to give those towns permission to do it next month. If we don't put our name in the hat, then we cannot consider this. I'm not saying that we should do it or not do it, but we should have the ability to consider it because we have the same housing challenges as many of the towns in Berkshire County in the Cape who are also taking a look at this. And I feel very strongly that we should have the flexibility to have consideration for this. I think it does not obligate us to pass it. It simply gives us the right to pass it. And if we don't do it now, we miss the boat because it's very difficult to get home rule petitions individually through the legislature, and they've already agreed to consider for these 20 towns. We're simply taking work that was already done by Amherst and Great Barrington and West Stockbridge and others, and we're simply doing a search and replace and putting our name in it for the same home rule petition that everyone else is putting in.
Isn't the state also considering making this a statewide thing?
Not in this legislative session. They're gonna, her exact words were, we are not gonna popcorn this. In other words, we're not gonna consider these individually. The people who put their names in are gonna get their names in. I sat in the room with her, as did approximately 10 other people from around the county. And she was very clear. So I get it in if you want to be considered. And I don't believe that the school will be controversial in Stockbridge. The school decision saves us money, improves education, and does many other things, provides for better ability to field sports teams over the next couple of decades. I don't believe in Stockbridge, unlike in some communities in South County potentially, this will be a controversial decision. I don't think that we need to simply limit the town meeting vote to just the schools. And for that reason, I think we should consider both the senior work-off and the transfer tax. The senior work-off helps folks pay their tax bill who are in need, and the transfer tax gives us flexibility that we're going to desperately need. The big reason to do the transfer tax is we cannot limit affordable and workforce housing to local-only applicants completely without funding it locally. If we don't come up with ways to fund it locally, like we did with the residential inclusionary bylaw, which the good folks at Elm Court and others are going to help us with, and if we don't do it with something like a transfer tax proposal, we simply cannot build housing for the people who live here exclusively. And that's, I think, should be the laudable goal of what our housing program is to help locals, help the firefighters and teachers and the police force and the nurses and the people who work in our community afford workforce housing. And we're not going to do that unless we figure out how to do it.
So Barrington voted it down.
Barrington only voted down adding it to this town meeting.
Right.
They may add a second town meeting to consider it. And West Stockbridge is also considering it. It's on their agenda tonight, I believe.
I'm not for it, and I don't think that it should be on the meeting, the school meeting. I think that's enough of an ask for our townspeople. We are not in the same demographic as Boston, Provincetown, Nantucket, Martha's Vineyard. They're selling houses for $25 million plus.
You got one for
No, I get to speak, Patrick. You don't get to talk all the time. And we are not like Amherst. We are not, and we have not decided as a board about this. And it will crush Stockbridge because the people that buy $1 million houses and plus, and I've done my homework, is that we are their fifth choice. They will go to New Hampshire, they will go to Maine, they will go somewhere else. And realtors and buyers do not want to pay this tax. It is a known thing among the realtors. They do not want this here. So I think we need more homework done, more information. We do not fit this demographic. It doesn't fit for us, and it doesn't solve we have affordable housing. We may need more, but it doesn't solve it. We need zoning, we need more jobs. There's so many other issues that are compiled. So I think, to rush and always, that is my opinion.
So when is the
Thank you.
state voting on this?
November. Jamie, this doesn't pass the bylaw. It only gives us the option to consider it as a town.
I mean, I would like to get public input on this and all that, so why don't I would recommend not putting this on the 23rd meeting, keeping this to school. We can bring this up at another meeting, get public input, get some more looking into it. And if we need to schedule, if the public's really into it, then we can schedule another meeting to pass it, but I do not believe I want it on the October 23rd meeting. It's just over the school's a big thing. And that's what that meeting's about. And that's my decision on that. So I'll make a motion that we do not put it on the October 23rd meeting.
I second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All those opposed?
Nay.
Take action on a one-day entertainment license for BSO Linden Center for a wedding on October 14th, extending hours to 12 midnight. I make a motion, we approve the
Oh, we
request.
got somebody.
I'm here if you have any questions.
We have approved these before.
Yes.
You're inside anyways.
Yes, this one is completely inside.
I know we like with Chesterwood, we told them at 11 o'clock, the music died down and stuff, but, because they're outside, and, you know, but you're inside, so I have no issue with it. Any comments from the board?
Motion approved.
Second, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you very much.
No problem. Take action on minutes from August 10th, August 24th, and September 14th. I make a motion, we accept the minutes.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. And meeting adjourned. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.